good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Business of Property. I'm your host, Cheryl Leong from Property Development Australia. I begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we virtually meet today and pay respects to elders past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. So at the Business of Property, we interview superstar guests in the property development space that share their expertise, their deals, and their stories to help empower, build, and grow our community of property developers. Hello, Facebook land, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Give me a shout out if you are here today, and welcome. Well, today I have two guests. Well, we were meant to have two guests. Unfortunately, one of our guests has had a bit of an issue with electricity in her suburb. So we get to speak to one of the duo because we're talking about developers joining forces, which is so cool because I'm all about networks and connections. So I'm going to welcome pretty soon Scott Fixter from Sierra and Fox, who has been involved in the construction industry for well over a decade. And our other guest, Vanessa 𝐒𝐈𝐴 from Connections Property Project, who's a full-time property developer. The both of them have joined forces over the past few years to develop together. And I'd like to bring Scott onto the Business of Property dance floor to share his experiences and some of his knowledge around how to go about creating joint venture partnerships. Hello, Scott. How are you?
Hey, Cheryl. Yeah, good. Thanks. Thanks for having me and Vanessa. But it's a pleasure to be back.
Excellent. I know we've had you on board, and I think it must be about well over a year. Maybe it's been 2 years since we had you on the Business of Property.
I think it might have been early last year, or it was something like that.
I believe it was just as you had secured your site in Geelong.
Yeah.
And you were transitioning from basically working full-time to becoming a full-time developer, which is what you're doing now.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is an amazing journey. So fantastic. We've got a few comments here. Hello, Rachel. Oh my goodness, it's great to see you. And it's been a while. Lovely to see you here. Thank you for joining us. And Rachel says, hello, Scott. You're buddies from way back. So, Scott, the topic today is around developers joining forces. And why I really want to share with the community your journey and Vanessa's is that we often go into development thinking that we've got to do it alone. Right, you sort of go, oh, that person's a developer, I'm a developer, I've got to do it all. Otherwise, I've got to earn my stripes by doing it all, right? And but the two of you have come together as developers in your own right to basically collaborate and join forces to do projects together. So I'd like to talk to you, and I'd like to ask some questions around what were the decision-making sort of processes that you went through along with Vanessa, which she's not here yet, so you're going to have to speak on her behalf. What was it that made you guys think, hey, let's come together and get a project done?
Okay, so I actually met Vanessa while we were doing a course for the Property Developer Network, and we just kind of caught up there. That was our first meet. And I think we're part of the same intake, so we were able to have regular contact through some calls, throughout the months. And then I ended up being able to get her on board for the 𝐒𝐈𝐴 project that I did. So she actually invested some into that project. And I guess earlier in last year, Vanessa approached me and asked, if it would be good to see if we can have a look at putting offers together and try and maximize the amount of output to secure some sites. With myself having some experience with this project, with the 𝐠𝐤𝐵𝐚 project, and with my general construction background, I'm a bit more on the technical side of things. And Vanessa with the huge network and just the tenacity and being able to get on the agents and just put so much effort in that space. We kind of thought that was a good opportunity, to be able to put forward some good offers and just try and maximize the amount that we're putting out there to try and get as many deals as we could. Yeah.
So it sounds like there's a real sort of complementary skill set that the two have. How were you able to set up the roles and responsibilities? How did you guys decide who was doing what?
Okay, so initially we didn't set out any paperwork. It was just a kind of a handshake agreement where we were going by each other. If we get a deal from our sources, then we will go through each other to, we won't just leave someone behind if we get it through our own individual source. So we had that agreement. So most of the time we were just bringing in opportunities from various places. And then once we actually got something, so we got a project in Everton Park, we then sat down and put some paperwork together for a joint venture agreement and signed that off, outlining, roles and responsibilities of that particular project. But before that, it was more just a verbal type of conversation and constant conversations of where we want to go, what our targets are. We regularly go through opportunities. We actually have Asana, like an Asana line where we just list all the potential sites that we want to put offers on, and they're all listed in there, and we'll both be putting, inputting our little 2 cents in each of those. So it's all a big collaboration up until once we get a deal, we'll actually put something in writing to, because there's stuff at stake at that point. Because prior to that, we're not really putting in money or anything like that. So yeah, I think that's a good question.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of, say, who does what in the partnership, once, I guess at the beginning it's sort of, leveraging each other in terms of time and context to get whatever deals, that you get to shortlist, and then finally, if you get offers and one's a goer, at that point, who's sort of responsible? Is there a clear, delineation of roles and responsibilities there?
We haven't really done a detailed outlining of those responsibilities. We're, I think it just depends on the personality types. Me and Vanessa, I think we work really well just as cooperative on all aspects of the project, or projects or offers or whatever it might be, where we don't feel like we need to allocate particular tasks, and it'll just be, Vanessa's busy this week doing certain tasks. She might be hounding millions of agents, and I'll go, okay, well, I'll make sure I take care of the, civil design stuff. I'll make sure we've taken care of that part for this week while she's doing that. And it'll just really depend on what's happening with both of us at the time. If we're both busy, then we'll have a discussion and go, okay, well, I'll make sure to do this, and then so it's really flexible what we've got. But I don't think that would work for everyone. I think that's just because of our personalities, and just the trust that we've got for each other.
Yeah. So that open communication, being able to go, hey, I've got your back, and it's not necessarily this is your task. You've got full responsibility over it, and washing my hands. And I think that's the point that you make about having complementary sort of personalities is a really important one, because often partnerships where you've got personalities that clash, that cause conflict, and in which case for you guys, you've gone through a project and it's gone quite well. You've got a process in place now.
We do have, sorry to interrupt there, but in the agreement that we've written down, we do have a process to go through if there is a disagreement of something in particular, whatever it might be some financial, we can't agree on sales prices or something, then there's a process to be followed there where we'll get another party maybe to put their eye over it and try and help us make that decision. So but so far we don't really need that. So
in terms of, let's talk about that side of things and the legal and setup and structures as well, if you're okay with that. What legal agreements did you put in place?
It was just a joint venture agreement for this particular project, and that really is just a document that outlines what's the general responsibilities, what will happen if the other person is incapacitated in some way, just all these different little scenarios, and it's kind of a template that we used to sign that. I don't think we didn't really go to the extent of going to solicitors to get that formalized, but it is a document that we've both signed and agreed to, that's formatted like what you would see in a loan agreement or anything like that.
And in terms of the structure that you've used to purchase the property, is that sort of a unit trust?
It's a company that we're both directors in.
Yeah. And so you can make decisions equally.
Yes, yeah. If had to be different, I think we would have just sought some legal advice to just make sure of consequences or what can be done in certain situations. But because we're both directors, we didn't really need to go that extra mile.
Excellent. So with the project that you have at the moment, you've got a new project and that's kicking off. Tell us a little bit about that and how that all came together, so we can see a little bit of the background of the collaboration.
Yeah, okay. So this was something that Vanessa came across through one of her agents that she calls, every month. And we ended up going and inspecting. So it was 2 properties side by side.
Yeah.
So we were able to, I'm not sure if we put an offer in or if we inspected first, but I was skeptical of it at first. So I looked at it and went, slopes to the back, and I don't know, just had a lot of little issues to it. But we went ahead, and Vanessa had a really good relationship with this agent, so we're able to get this completely off market. So I think we were the only ones that actually looked at this one. So that's how good she was able to converse with this agent and secure it. Yeah, so we put an offer through after inspecting, and originally it was to do a 2 into 3, so where we would keep the 2 houses, do renovation for both, and then subdivide off the back. And yeah, we ended up getting under the building and pest, getting that down about, I think it was 60K in the end. But we were also not able to keep one house. This was in a higher density area as well, so it was low to medium density. And so we knew we had a lot of exit strategies. We had the option to go townhouses if we wanted to, units. There's units next door, for example. We could go small lots, which is what we ended up doing. We ended up going with 2 into 4 lots, and they're 303 square meters. So that's like for Brisbane City Council, normally the minimum's 400, but that's low density residential. So we were able to get an extra lot out of that and just remove the houses as the better option, I guess, financially in the feasibility once we were doing due diligence.
Yeah, fabulous. So you went through different options, and how does that decision making happen when there's you've got, say, 3 or 4 different scenarios, and you sort of go, how do you guys work out how that decision making occurs?
I guess
Elbow you and.
Well, I guess it goes back to what we discussed when we first wanted to start getting more opportunities in. We talked about what is our main strategy, because what we're taught is to focus on specific areas, one specific council, and then make sure we've only got one strategy as well. So subdivisions is what we're both going for, and that is our primary exit strategy, and mainly land as well. So builds we've spoken about this on numerous occasions, where we don't really want to go the new build route unless we really need to. We just both prefer that we exit on land. So the subdivision strategy was always going to be number one, unless we couldn't get that to work for some reason throughout the project. So yeah, I guess that was established earlier on, where we would then discuss the feasibility when we were looking to put an offer in. We both look at all the line items and then look at that subdivision as the main strategy to exit on. And if that didn't work, we generally don't pursue other strategies to try and make it work. We'll put the offer in based on subdivision, and if that's not accepted, then we'll try and negotiate that, but if that doesn't work, we'll generally not pursue it anymore.
Okay, so even though it might have the potential for townhouses or units, it's not something that you go, it's not part of our strategy, we're not experts in that, we'd rather pass it on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And what was the reasoning behind that? Because, say, for example, if a site was viable with townhouses, and it obviously wasn't a subdivision, would it be something that you'd pass on to someone else, or is that still a difficult conversation where between the both of you went, well, actually, if we did townhouses, it would actually work out quite well?
I think it's just because we're not really knowledgeable in even where to start looking for how to price townhouses. We haven't been really looking at just, I guess, the sales part of it, the funding, all of those little bits and pieces are just extra time that we could be spending looking for other subdivision deals.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a point where maybe we will look at townhouses one day, but I think to just focus and be able to make quick offers on the subdivision strategy is much better, and we're not kind of going all over the place figuring out, have we missed anything? So that just cuts out the fear factor. I guess fear is not a great one to use as an excuse, but I think it's more we are much more confident in what we've done in our feasibility for subdivisions, whereas if it was a townhouse one, we would expend much more time, effort, and still not have that confidence at the end when we're putting an offer in or contract down. So it might end up being a huge waste of time by the time we go through due diligence, okay, we've just wasted a month of our time or something like that.
Yeah.
I guess
I focus, and this is the part where I actually posted something up the other day around not falling victim to shiny object syndrome and being focused around what your strategy is, because it's so easy, right? I mean, you get lots of different sites and you're like, oh my goodness, I could put townhouses, units, rooming houses, or whatever. But you know that if you look at a subdivision, you know the cost to subdivide, you know the questions to ask, you know what to look out for.
Yeah, the little anomalies that the planning scheme requirements for those little bits and pieces of a subdivision, and have no idea what a townhouse might come up with. Can we actually fit 3 townhouses on there, or what are the spacing requirements? We don't know all that stuff. So that's a huge undertaking if we do want to try and go that way. Even builds might end up being a good option for us, but we want to know general build costs in the area, just as a backup, as another exit strategy to use, I guess, for funding and everything like that. But it's still not one we're really putting much focus in.
Yeah. So where are you at with your Everton Park project?
So we had a delayed settlement until January this year. We put it under contract, I think, in October last year, and we were able to get DA before settlement. We got private funding, and that's now, I guess, we've done the civil design. We've still got tenants in there until May, so we've allowed for that in our feasibility, but we've just got to wait until they've moved out before we can actually do the civil and demolition works. So it's kind of just a waiting game now. We're locking in everyone now so that it's all ready to go in a few months' time.
Yeah, excellent. And so when you mentioned about private funding, you haven't gone to the banks, but you've got an investor that's put in the equity
commercial lending.
Commercial lending, okay.
Commercial lender, yeah. We do have investors on board as well.
Yeah. Brilliant. So you've been able to sort of pull all the parts together to really leverage off everyone's, whether it's they've got money, but obviously you and Vanessa bring in the expertise and the delivery side of things. So it's a real win-win for everyone there. So
yeah.
And then you've got from now till May to basically get all CC and everything. I don't know what you call CC in Brisbane. Is that building approval? So that's pretty much with February. Has that been completed already?
Not the building approval yet. we were just kind of locking in the civil design first and seeing how that was going to go. But yeah, no, that's something we'll be working on in the next couple of weeks, just to get that organised and ready to go before then. We've already got a few certificates for, telecommunications and energetics and that type of thing. So that's all ready to go for plan sealing. And yeah, it's really just the rest is just waiting for the tenants to move out, and that'll be maybe a couple of weeks worth of work. And yeah.
And it's all systems.
We are actually going to start marketing a couple of the lots off the plan, so that's in the works in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So just so I'm on the same page, did you say it was a 2 into 4, but you could only keep one property? Was that right?
Well, one of them was damaged with termites and structural elements and badly weather damaged and all that type of thing. So that's when we looked at other strategies. So originally it was going to be keeping the 2 houses and subdividing off the back. But since that house, it was full of asbestos and had structural damage, to even investigate how bad the damage would have cost a fortune, because there's all asbestos in there. So instead of going down that route and guessing, it was, okay, what other options do we have? And we looked at the 2 into 4 lots, vacant lots, which means we have to get rid of both houses, though the one house could potentially be moved to another site, or maybe the house demolition guys might want to take that for themselves. So that's another thing we're going to work through. It's not. It's a good condition house, so it can still be kept, but just not on our property.
Someone else can have it.
Yeah.
So Scott, I'd love for you to be able to share, I guess, your top 3 tips for people looking to do a joint venture, particularly with another developer. What would be the top 3 things?
I think finding someone that you're naturally comfortable with, where you just can have a conversation really easily. You're not trying to think of questions to ask type of thing. It's just a natural, comfortable conversation. You feel, confident with them. So that would be one. Second is just look at your personality types and really question whether they would fit in any situation. So you've got, I personally don't work well with people that are very dominant type of personalities. I tend to crawl back into a little hole and let them take care of everything, because they're so dominant, and I don't want to interrupt that because I'm quite passive. So I know the type of people that I wouldn't get along with and feel like I wouldn't be participating as well in those types of joint ventures. So have a look at your personalities and see whether there'll be clashes, particularly in times of when things go wrong, I guess. You can't just look at everything in the positive light. You've got to look at, okay, well, what happens if something goes wrong? Will this person just ditch me? Or will it get to a point where this person will overrule all my decision making? Will make it very difficult to come to a decision because their personality might be overpowering, or I don't know, just things to think about that. Oh, it looks like I don't know if she's got the video. And the third one, Vanessa can come on. I maybe she can say the third one, but
Oh yeah, absolutely. You've got video. Oh, we might have Vanessa. I'm just going to see if Rafiq can add her onto the video. Let's see if he's around. Hopefully you're there, Rafiq. Let's see if I can add you. What are the 3 points? She's going to have to be chatting for a bit. What are the 3 points? So we were asking, what are the 3 points that poor Vanessa's chatting to us in StreamYard. So I asked Scott, what were the top 3 points that he would say to consider when you are looking at doing a joint venture partnership with another developer? So you mentioned making sure sort of personalities are complementary. I think that was the main thing. The second point was fairly related. I reckon it was around personality.
Yeah, feeling comfortable with that. Yeah.
Yeah, the skills. Yeah, having complementary skills. So you mentioned, Scott, that in terms of your background in the construction side of things, whereas Vanessa's really great with the relationship building, making sure the connections are constantly happening. Connections, yeah, we're called connections property projects for a reason. And yeah, you guys bring together different skill sets, but they're quite complementary. So I say that's the second one. And what would you say is the third one, Vanessa? She's typing.
Well, I can mention another one while she's typing. Probably just similar goals or establishing goals to work towards that you're both agreeable on. It's difficult when you got different, like, oh, I want to do 20 lot subdivision and someone's risk profile is only 1 to 2 or something like that. So
yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Similar values and goals as she rightfully said as well. So we do have a joint goal for 2022. Oh, what's the joint goal for 2022? Do share.
It's to get 5 more subdivision projects this year.
Lovely. 5 more, so you're going to have 6 in total.
Yeah, because we got that one last year, so that
doesn't count. That doesn't count. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Could have sort of slipped it in there. All right, 5 new subdivisions starting in 2022. I'm so excited for you guys because I love to do a catch up at the end of the year to see how you've gone and how you guys have worked through, because as with every project, there's going to be challenges, and as with every project, next time I will have power. Yes, you will have power. I promise you it was all good things that were said, and if not, we'll just edit those out. Right, Scott?
Yeah,
that's right. So it is, I think, again, for those of you out there who are watching this and going, I don't know about development, or I'm starting out about development, I'm great at building connections, but maybe I'm not so great around the technical project management side of things. Like, don't feel like you have to do it alone. There you are. Hello, Vanessa. You made it.
Yes.
Did you ring up your connections to get the connections?
Yes.
I'm so glad you're here. You are a good team. And the point that we were talking about, and what really has stood out about the partnership that the both of you have, is that there's really clear communication, and there's really open and transparent communication. Because as Scott mentioned as well, like, if you or any partner he is working with was really overpowering, it would make him quite reserved and step back, which obviously you're not, which means that he feels comfortable and confident speaking to you about his thoughts and his suggestions.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think we're a good team. And having worked, well, not worked, but having one deal before our deal together, I'm not sure if he mentioned that was a good actually testing the water anyway.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you did mention sort of 𝐸𝐵𝐁, and then now you've got
Yes.
this site, which was which came out of the fact that you have a really good relationship with the local real estate agent. But another reminder for the community, like, talk to agents, like, go and have coffee, make those connections, like, build those relationships. You just never know when someone sends you something because you've been on their radar and you are, constantly ringing them up, which I'm sure you do, Vanessa.
I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Share
It's
with us. Sorry, just to, I want if you could share with us some of the things that you do in your week to keep these connections that you have going.
Okay, yes. I guess there are two main pillars of the business. One is finding the deal, and one is finding the JVs that will come in terms of money partners, put it this way. So you have to keep both alive. So finding deals, there's I guess the regular way, calling agents, sending letter. And as you know, I do both quite regularly. I'm going to get into a bit more creative ways, finding deals as well, but those two work. And in terms of having connections with other people by, going through network events and actually talking to people what you do, because sometimes the person that will be coming on board to your deal as a JV or investor could be right in front of you and you just don't realize that.
Yes.
Because if you don't talk, I did have somebody put their hand up for the deal, and I didn't realize she was interested in actually coming on board, and it was quite surprised. It was just right in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
Yes.
this whole, there's so much value in networking and
Yes.
sharing with people what it is that you're doing.
Mm.
And as much as it can, when you start off, it can be quite uncomfortable. I know, Scott, for you, that was one of your challenges, going, I've got to share with people and tell them what I'm doing. And you're doing all these videos around your journey, which was incredible to watch. But
Yeah, I've got to start do some more.
yeah, absolutely. We don't see you enough. But as part of that, people felt that they wanted to be on that journey with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I see that, Vanessa, you're designed to do some videos as well, which again is, these are not things that you're generally comfortable with, or that we are, but it's part of going, all right, I'm creating this business around property development.
Yes.
And some parts of the business is reaching out to agents, speaking to potential joint venture partners and investors, and then all the other project management side of things. So it's great that the both of you have sort of moved out of your comfort zones to be able to, one, find sort of strength in the collaboration, but also be able to support each other and going, yeah, let's get out of our comfort zone and get out there and share with people what it is we're doing.
Yes. And it's good to be talking to people what you do and just sharing the experience of what's going, well, and the challenges, because, within the communities that we are around, they're very supportive. So it's good to, let people know what you're doing, because you never know.
Yeah. And I love that you've put that little note in the chat. You say 100% trust my JV.
Yes.
Oh. We should have done this on Valentine's Day. Which it is, I think it's a partnership, whether, it's a life partnership or a business partnership, it's around knowing that you can, they've got your back. That
Yes.
if they're going to make a decision, it's going to be in the best interest of the partnership as well.
That there's, of course, you have the paperwork and things that you need to do and so forth. But if you don't trust the person, there's no point trying to do something like that. You have to trust the person, and you work together. You can see the level of comfort and who's going to handle what. It's I guess between Scott and I, even though we task, it's quite organic and what each one will do.
Yeah.
And it just flows, I guess. I'm not sure if he agrees with me, but it seems that way.
He did it. That was the first thing he mentioned, was the fact that the both of you, if you're busy doing something, he'll sort of, look after stuff, and when he's busy with something, you'll look after things as well. But there's all of that communication happening. We've got someone here, I can't tell who it is, but they've said they've enjoyed watching your journey from when you started Rob's course. Well done, mate, and congrats to you both teaming up, which is fabulous. Nice work, Scott, and hello as well. That was Dean Dawson. Thank you, Dean, for watching. So, Vanessa, tell us your top 3 things that your top 3 tips for people looking at joining forces with another developer.
I think the key is it has to be complementary. The skills have to be different. Even though you have the process of development and it's like step by step, if you bring different skills, it makes it a bit easier. Because if you both bring, I guess, technical skills, but nobody will get into the table to negotiate because nobody feel comfortable doing so. Somebody has to take the lead to do the negotiation, and somebody has to look at the drawings and understand what that means. Yeah, so I guess it has to be complementary, and communication is very important, and be very honest and transparent as well, even if it's uncomfortable at times. Because of course we have to have sometimes difficult conversations, but as long as you're honest and transparent, and it's towards the end goal that you both have in common, that's great. Just sit down, have those tough conversations, get it out of the way.
I want to add to that we do have a fair few negotiations between ourselves before we make an offer. So we'll be like fighting over, no, I think it would work this way. So we're constantly challenging our own opinions there, and not constantly challenging, but there are points where we will challenge what the other person's put down. And
I hope I didn't lose connection.
So be honest, kind of being upfront about the communication.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of having a healthy partnership, right? Because you can't constantly agree with each other. There has to be some level of challenge in there, so that the both of you are seeing things from different angles, and then obviously eventually you come up with an offer that the both of you are fairly comfortable with. And then you put across. So who does the negotiations?
I'd say mainly Vanessa, I think.
I tend to negotiate. First, I tend to negotiate with Scott just so we agree on price.
Yeah.
I love it. She tests it out on Scott the guinea pig to begin with. Do you play the role of bad cop? Not bad cop, but angry.
I'm usually the bad cop.
Oh, bad cop. All right. Yeah, someone's gonna be.
I'll give my face.
I think we'll go through like what tactics we might want to approach and think of what the owner or agent's perspective is going to be. We'll discuss that before Vanessa goes in and takes the talking role. Negotiate.
That's right. Yeah. She comes in with the big arm around the neck.
Yeah,
I guess look, I guess deep breath and then go and do the conversation, the negotiation somebody has to do it. So I'm okay with it. And I guess the more you do it, the more you feel comfortable as well. But then I know that I have my joint venture to back me up, because some of the conversations when we're on the table with owner and agent, sometimes a tough conversation that could arise from it. At least I'm not alone. So if it gives you a bit,
Yes.
a support that it you have your JV there, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good excuse as well when you need a little bit of time to sort of go, I need to run this by my partner.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Be able to
Yes.
step away, because
Absolutely.
My partner's not very comfortable with that.
yeah, it's my partner's fault. Oh dear.
So it's Scott's fault, yeah. But the fact that you are the scapegoat makes it actually easier for the negotiation, right, Vanessa?
Yes. So it's good because it's having that, I guess, that support behind. And if we're not in the same place at the same time, and if it's a phone conversation that I have to take a decision, I can always say, I'm not doing that by myself. I have to consult with my business partner. I'll get back to you. So just give it as a breather. Sometimes they're like, get back to me straight away. So it's like, please contact me. But yes, no, we I guess we work well. It works.
Excellent. That's fantastic. Well, I know, Vanessa, that you love catching up with people. Scott's in Brisbane. You're in Brisbane. Anyone that's in the community, I mean, honestly, the power of community and networks and connections, and this is a fine example of what can happen out of that. And more importantly, knowing that you don't have to do this whole development thing by yourself. Like, it doesn't need to be a lonely journey. You can see here you've got, two people from different backgrounds and different sort of skill sets, but it works so beautifully. And so that they can actually achieve more together, as opposed to thinking, it's a divide and conquer type thing. So I've loved seeing the collaboration there from the both of you. So well done. I'm looking forward to coming back with you in 10 months, because it's almost the end of February now.
Oh, wow.
We've got 10 months to secure the 5 projects, which I'm absolutely sure that you will. And I can't wait for you guys to walk us through the journey of, for all of them as well. So congratulations to the both of you, and all the best for the rest of the year. And thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today. And I'm so glad you were able to finally jump on board, Vanessa.
Thank you, and thanks for the patience, guys. For those who are listening, apologies for the technical difficulties. It's not my strength.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you've got light. Back. Otherwise, it's going to be candles throughout the night.
Yes, no, it's good.
Thank you so much, Scott and Vanessa. And for anyone that wants to reach out to them, Scott's from Sierra and Fox, and Vanessa's from Connections Property Projects. They are on Facebook. Reach out, look out for their Facebook pages. Otherwise, websites are www.connectionspropertyprojects. Is that right, Vanessa?
Yes, .com.
And then it's sierraandfox.com.au. And so thank you. We'll catch up with you guys in a few months, and I really want to be talking about at least 5 projects.
Well,
that's the goal.
That's the
goal. Now we have to make it happen.
Absolutely. I know who your coach is, so I'm pretty sure he'll be on your back.
Yes. He's probably listening.
Fantastic, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you again next time very soon. Make sure you visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you, and where you can find all our business of property videos. If you found value in this show, I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe to our channel so you hit the like button, and then when new Business of Property series comes up, you get notified. So thank you, guys. We'll see you again. And
Thanks for having us.
cheers. Until next week. Bye-bye.